Hi, it's Kylie from Painted Wing. In today's video, I'll be creating a few paintings by following tutorials in some watercolor books. As some of you might already know, I'm in the process of publishing my own watercolor project book. My book will be published by Page Street Publishing. So I purchased some watercolor books by other artists who use the same publisher to see how they turned out. I wanted to get an idea of how they lay out their books and how they look and feel. But other than for that, I thought it'd be fun to flip through them and show them to you guys, and then also create a painting out of each book. So this first book here is called Botanical Watercolor Painting for Beginners, a step-by-step guide to create beautiful floral artwork. And the author and artist of this book is Cara Rosalie Olsen. I really like her loose impressionistic style. It's quite pretty, and this book would be great if you're interested in loose florals. The paintings appear to use a freehand painting technique, where you don't sketch beforehand, you just jump right into painting. And it looks like in the beginning of the book, she demos how to create different brush marks to help you create these paintings. So I'm going to continue flipping through all the books before I start the projects. So this next book is also a floral book, and the name of the book is Ink and Wash Florals, Stunning Botanical Projects in Watercolor and Ink, and the author and artist is Camilla Damsbo. I also apologize if I'm mispronouncing anyone's name. In this book, she walks you through the drawing process, starting with pencil and ink, and then filling it in with watercolor. It looks like some of the projects start with ink and then you fill in the shapes, and then others you start with watercolor first and then add ink. I think these tulips are pretty neat, how she filled in some with color and others she left unpainted. These floral books should be pretty fun, since I'm not that big on painting florals right now. I used to do a lot of ink and wash when I was younger, particularly portraits and florals. Last Christmas, I found my high school art while I was digging through my parents' storage unit. I might have to show you guys some of it, it's pretty interesting. But I do think ink and wash is a really great way to introduce yourself to watercolors. It takes away some of the fear of not being able to control the watercolor paint. Because even if the paint is loose and washy, you'll still have some fine details with the ink parts. Then this final book is called Watercolor Nature, Paint Woodland Wildlife and Botanicals with 20 Beginner-Friendly Projects by Rosalie Haizlett. In this book, it shows you how to do ink and wash and also watercolor-only projects, which is pretty awesome. It also walks you through how to sketch each piece and provides a reference image. This book is probably most like mine as far as subject matter, as my book is on how to paint animals. I think it's a great choice if you want to practice a similar style and work on creating tight details. Now I'll be creating a piece of each book. The first piece I'm working on is a snail out of the book Watercolor Nature. I think the snail is pretty cute, and it has some interesting colors. I'll start by freehand sketching the piece, and then after sketching it, it instructs me to line over it with pen. Now after erasing the pencil lines, I'm going to begin painting. While I'm creating this, I'm just loosely following the directions, mainly looking just at the pictures. And since I didn't read, it looks like I accidentally used burnt umber instead of raw umber. So oops, don't listen to me. And then here's my final result. I think it turned out pretty good, considering I messed up the colors. And then this next project, I'm going to work on the sunflower from the Ink and Wash Floral book. I'll start off by sketching out my sunflower. And it looks like you're supposed to freehand draw them with ink without pencil lines. Oops, oh well. I think it's a little easier to sketch out with pencil first and then go over it with ink, but you could do it either way. And then next I'm supposed to make some scribbly marks, and I found this really fun actually, just kind of scribbling in these little circles. For the painting process, I do not have all the colors to use, so I'm just mixing my own. I don't think you should ever feel like you have to have the exact colors another artist used in their tutorial. Just try to match as best as you can with what you have. I mean, you could purchase every suggested color, but it might be pretty expensive. As someone who also creates tutorials, I kind of see it more as a guide versus like this is how you must do something, and that's kind of how I'm viewing these tutorials as well. What I like about this project is that it combines filling in the inked in areas of watercolor as well as loosely painting the stem and leaves on the flower. I find that quite interesting. I also love the suggested moment on this front leaf here. And then here's the final results. I think I could have been more precise with my drawing, as it turned out a little narrow in the center of the sunflower, and my stem looks a little thick. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Another thing to mention, if you follow art tutorials, please do not get upset if your piece doesn't look exactly like the artist. They're most likely a professional, and this is their area of expertise, so don't be too hard on yourself. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next painting. I'm pretty excited for this one. I don't often paint with no preliminary drawing. I might do some areas of a piece with no sketch, but not usually the whole thing. And then again for this painting, I'm just mixing my own colors. So I mixed up a pinkish color for my petals, and my flower's getting a little large. I didn't expect it to get so big, but here we are. And then I mix up a little green and paint out the stem and leaves. And then there's the final results. I think it's pretty cool. Alright, and now for the final piece, I'll be creating something for my upcoming book, 30-Minute Watercolor Animals. Create beautiful, beginner-friendly paintings in no time at all. I won't be getting a printed artist copy until late September, so I just printed off the image of my front cover. And then I'm using a project draft to help me paint the barn owl. In my book, there'll be drawing templates in the back that you can use to create your painting. You can either use graphite paper, a light pad, or a window to transfer the drawing. In today's painting, I'll be using graphite paper. The drawing templates just make it so you don't have to worry about the drawing process, and so you can just jump right into painting. It's great because if you mess up, you can easily start over. If you don't want to use a drawing template, you can always freehand sketch your drawing though. The paintings in my book will combine loose watercolors with tight details. If you're familiar with my work, the projects will be in a similar style, but they'll be designed for beginners in mind, and to be completed in under 30 minutes. Of course, that amount of time might vary from person to person. When I was creating each project, I actually timed myself to create them in under 30 minutes. And there's the final results of my owl. Even my own painting looks a little different than the first one I painted. If you're interested in pre-ordering my book, I'll have the info in the video description. It'll be out in October in the US and in Canada, and then a month or so later it'll be available in the EU and Australia. I'll also have the other authors' info in the video description if you want to purchase one of their books or follow them on social media. I did purchase these books with my own money and wasn't asked by anyone to create this video. If you guys want me to check out any other art books or have a favorite you want to share, leave a comment below. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye now.